Good evening, my little twilights, and I hope you are all having a happy new year. This is going to be the second chapter of Ripples on Deep Water by orphan_account. Just want to let you guys know that I do this for fun. I don't do this as work. This is not what I do every day. I do want to try to keep a schedule. However, I've been away this month for a very long time and I never had chance to actually record where I was. Since this is anime, not all of my friends like anime, so I can't really just ditch them to quickly go and do this. However, I do have some chance now, and I hope you all enjoy. Chapter 2, Castle. Summary. Izuku has had it with Katsuki. Them versus the world. But he's making allies. Hi? Izuku had dialed the number on his phone with shaky hands the next day, but still determined. His fresh notebook was opened and blank in front of him, and waited with bated breath as the line was silent for a moment. Is this Shinji-kun? Midoriya Izuku? You wrote on my arm? Ha! I totally thought it would take you longer. Or you'd give up. Good job. You want to learn how to make some babies? Izuku's heart stuttered to a stop. Oh, right. My dad just reminded me that not everyone talks like me. I call my inventions my babies. Izuku could breathe again. Maybe? I hadn't really thought of making support items before. No problem, Midoriya-kun. Meet me after school Friday at that old trash beach, and I can teach you a bit. We're gonna be great friends. Hajime hung up on the still flushed Izuku without warning, and he blinks at the notebook. Trash beach. She must mean Dagoba. Izuku opens the calendar and sets a reminder, off on autopilot. It was Thursday morning. He just had to survive today and tomorrow. He felt eyes on his back when he entered the school that day, new notebook in hand as he sketched Kamui Woods. For once, he felt a flare of defiance in his chest and turned to glare in the direction of the stairs to lock eyes with Kachan. Deku, what the fuck did you think you pulled? A moment passed in which he recalled his old friend's cruel words. To jump off a building. How he had considered it for a brief moment on the subway. The burn scars on his back, the still fresh one on his shoulder, the countless broken noses or cuts or twisted ankles. Friends don't do that to friends. I saved your ass, Katsuki. The thing about drowning is that if I didn't let you breathe, you would have died before All Might showed up. So shove your high horse up your ass and leave me the fuck alone. Katsuki stopped dead in his tracks, hands stilling completely as a shock took over his features. Other students spectating took a visible step back. Katsuki had almost certainly been expecting a flood of apologies, tears, and probably ego stroking as he beat Izuku up again. He turned on his heel and walked away before the inevitable explosion could reach him and into his class, taking in the view. Several students were snickering in the corner as they glanced over at Izuku. His eyes were only for his desk. A lone red spider lily sat on the wood, oblivious to the crisis it was causing in Izuku's mind. Red crept into the edges of his vision as he saw the teacher tactfully ignoring it, and he took his phone out of his pocket and discreetly started videotaping. He walked up to the teacher, holding the camera at an angle to catch his face. Obonuyama-sensei, someone put a red spider lily on my desk. The giggling grew louder, and he ignored it, looking at his teacher expectantly. Your classmates are probably just joking around, Midoriya. Go sit down before I give you detention. He angled his camera to the group of full-blown cackling students before twisting it at his desk again as he approached. Instead of sitting, Izuku snatched the flower up, exiting the classroom without another word. As soon as he was in the hall, Katsuki was upon him. Deku! He felt a harsh shove to the chest, back hitting the wall as he grit his teeth when a fist balled up the front of his Gakuran. What the hell was going through your shitty head when you said that, huh? Izuku met Katsuki's eyes and narrowed his own. Speaking with as much venom as he could muster, he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm headed to the principal. Katsuki sneered. What do you do now, shit nerd? Someone report you for being a worthless piece of shit? No. He raised his hand with the red spider lily in it. Someone left this on my desk, Katsuki. Lovely, isn't it? A very pretty color. The bully stared at the flower, shock flitting across his face. Then he released Izuku's shirt, snatched the flower, and exploded between his palms with a sadistic sneer, dropping the ashes back into Izuku's hand. Who would even believe you, Deku? Not this school principal. But Izuku never stopped recording. He ended the video with a tap of his finger, glaring at his longtime bully, knowing he'd pay dearly for it later. Nobody here, he said simply. Then he shoved Katsuki hard in the chest, sending the significantly taller boy stumbling back before heading back into the classroom, dropping the ash on the floor. When he got home, he was shaking like a leaf. Izuku had no idea where that rush of courage, or stupidity, definitely stupidity, came from, but he definitely paid the price. His hands were bloody with minor burns, and his wrist was sprained, both ankles twisted, and the back of his legs bruised and cut nastily. His arms were peppered with burns, and Izuku was certain his back was the same. Tears came to his eyes, and he practically ran to the bathroom, shutting and locking the door as they came forth. Everyone hated him when he was weak, but they hated him more when he hit back. If you want to be a hero that badly, there's a quick way to do it. Believe that you'll be born with a quirk in your next life, and take a swan dive off the roof of the building. It's not a bad dream, but you also have to consider what's realistic. Tears flowed down in silence, the sobs shaking his aching shoulders as he dressed and bandaged the wounds with a practiced hand. He stretched his feet, knowing that they'll be sore in the days to come, and wrapped his wrist, hoping it heals fast. Everyone hates him because of a fucking pinky joint. A fucking joint in his toe that ruined his life. Night doesn't read the future of every villain to win battles, kid. Meet me after school Friday at that old trash beach, and I can teach you a bit. We're gonna be great friends. He wiped his tears. If the world was against him, then he would fight harder. Maybe Hatsume would ditch him the moment she found out he was quirkless. But Eraserhead had looked him in the eye and inadvertently rebuilt his dream. Izuku went to his room and silently thanked whatever divinity was out there that it wasn't his dominant hand that was sprained, as he sketched the hero exactly as he had seen him, exhaustedly leaning against the wall of the subway, his dark eyes holding some unnamed intensity. Directly under it he wrote in small print, Nara doesn't read the future of every villain to win battles. He felt like those words would stick with him for a long, long time. Izuku's eyes wander around his room, a strange sort of hatred swelling up in his chest as he saw a blinding smile everywhere. Never had ripping posters off a wall been so relieving. Friday couldn't come fast enough. The entire day had been filled with cruel words, but today he tried something a little different. He didn't even acknowledge Katsuki. If anything, that seemed to disturb the bully more than Izuku snapping back, he notes with no small measure of satisfaction. Of course, he gets tripped a lot and his possessions burned, but he made sure his notebook was hidden and he was safe, only exiting the building with a bruise on his shoulder. The Goba wasn't far, and his sneakers collected sand in the soles as he walked down the stretch of honestly disgusting beach. "Hi, Midoriya-kun!" Hatsume appeared from somewhere within a mound, in her arms a broken microwave. She threw that out into the sand next to him, and then ducked down to grab something that looked suspiciously like a car engine, and jogging over to the bewildered Izuku, her yellow eyes bright and manic. He noticed the crosshairs. It must be part of her quirk. Hi, Hatsume-chan." Hatsume grinned, dropping the engine next to the microwave. "Glad to see ya. Call me May. My quirk is zoom, because I can look at things really far away. Helpful for little bits of machinery. So don't expect to get all the finer bits perfect like me when you're making your first baby." He tactfully ignores the word choice as he shuffles his feet. Might as well get it over with. I'm quirkless. A beat. Then, "That's so cool, Midori-chan. Do you have any idea how rare that is these days? Most people just focus on things that would help their quirk, but you could look and think, what would help everyone?" He blinked. This was a dream, right? Her excited face told a different story. "I'm gonna be a support designer, like Power Loader. I'll sell my support items to big heroes and make bank." Izuku just stares, almost missing the next words. "What do you want to do, Midori-chan?" Uh, His foot scuffs the sand, kicking up a bit as he looked through them. "I'm gonna be a hero. I think underground?" Her eyes lit up even more. "Really? You'll need support items then. If you work with me and sell some support items to the underground community, I can hook you up with some of my babies for free." Okay. Izuku nods, allowing a tiny smile. You can call me Izuku." Mai drags him to the trash pile, showing him which kinds of things were salvageable, her energy unabating as she made him help her drag an oven into the open. "You'll need to build up some muscles, Izuku," Mai says contemplatively. "You look like you've got more sneaky body than a bulky one. But that can work." She spent the rest of the day sitting in the sand with him, taking simple machines apart and guiding him to put them back together. As the sun began to set, he smiled widely at the assembled, theoretically functional microwave, and May laughed, throwing her head back, and the dying sun glinted on her goggles. "Not bad, Izuku. Text if you want to do this again." She's off before he can respond, leaving Izuku to his thoughts. Maybe it wasn't the fact that he was quirkless that ruined his life. He drew a line in the sand while he mulled it over. Why did they treat him horribly? Eraserhead and Hatsume were fine with it. A bystander was the control, someone who had no idea he was quirkless. He spoke to them and they talked cheerfully back. Telling people he was quirkless was constant, the thing that didn't change. So what was the variable? What separated May from Katsuki? What made an entire school hate him, but May want to be his friend? He traced us and them in the sand on either side of the line. What was the line? Where did it blur? What was the variable? Katsuki and the school and his mum, them, May and Eraserhead and Izuku, us. It's not bad to dream, but you also have to consider what's realistic. Everyone always agreed with All Might. He was one of them. The world was them. His fingers dig into the sand, bowling and watching the grains fall through. It was Izuku versus the world, really. So what if All Might was one of them? He'd just fight harder. Everyone pushed Izuku around constantly. It was about time he pushed back. Alright, my little twilights, that's going to be it. Like always, I'll be putting all of the hashtags and link to the fic in the description. This one, the author says that it's inspired by the song Castle by Halsey. So far, I'm seeing a pattern with the titles of the chapters and songs, because here the author says that the lyrics, I'm headed straight for the castle, they're gonna make me their queen, and there's an old man sitting on the throne there saying that I probably shouldn't be so mean. The narrator is apparently Izuku, where he's saying that he's going to the castle, he's going to be the queen, he's going to be the best. Basically, he's saying he's going to be the best fucking hero, and we all love him for that. We want him to be the best. And I'm going to guess that the old man is probably All Might, because he's the one that's saying that he shouldn't be so mean. He's the one that's saying he shouldn't follow his dreams. Wada wada wada. You all know that. I also love this part where Katsuki basically gets what he deserves from Izuku. I hate the fact that he's still trying to show him better. I love it when Katsuki sees that what he's doing is not working or something like that. However, I also love it when authors bring in the fact that he is not the main character, basically. That doesn't matter what happens, he still should get what he deserves, especially if he's being a dick about it. So let me know what you all thought of this chapter. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night, my little twilights.